Stones look like the Vienna Choir Boys. They're next here on Take It to the Bridge. And remembering the 60s, the Rolling Stones were definitely the flag wavers for the bad old ways of rock and roll. But there was a band before them who'd been there, done that, and burned the T-shirt before Jagger had perfected his I'll do it anyway pout. The Pretty Things, who inspired the Ramones as well as the Sex Pistols, have a retrospective CD, Unrepentant, on release, and they bumped into Paul King to fill in some of the gaps between those bad old days and the here and now.
65 was perhaps your best year, I suppose, commercially, wasn't it?
Commercially, in
like,
UK, Europe, yeah.
64 to 66, I suppose, was the sort of hit single period.
Commercial peak.
Yeah, pop.
And it's when you were picking up your sort of press for being Wild Boys, longest hair in Britain, I think.
Yeah, thrown out of continents.
Oh, yes. I think you're banned for life in New Zealand, aren't you?
Yeah, we were at the time, but I don't know whether it's ever been challenged. My daughter went there last year, so
They let her in.
maybe.
But why were you banned at all from New Zealand? What did you do?
Viv, our drummer.
At the time?
At the time, yeah. Not this one. This one's...
I joined about 65. I had to fill
in fact, it skipped...
Viv's shoes or seat, his seat, wasn't it?
We left him in
It was a bit
New Zealand,
sweaty at the time.
but he was a little bit outrageous in a few theatres there.
Yeah.
Especially with things like burning torches of newspaper and things like that.
So light the curtains and
You needed a St. John.
And yeah, but we made a mistake. Another insane one.
Right.
But anyway, he generally caused a bit of mayhem.
Right.
And one of the things which happened was Viv, for once in his life, the only time ever, was drinking a glass of water. And a reporter said, "What's that you're drinking?" He said, "Oh, meth." And next thing, it's actually in the paper.
He's done meth.
Pretty Things drink meth before going on stage.
Right. Well, all help for the wild boy image, I suppose.
But there's also, the whole thing was really instigated by a magazine over there called Truth, of paper, which is just like a scandal sheet. And they would go into the motel rooms after we'd left them, and they'd empty all the rubbish bins onto one bed, like cigarette and cartons of whatever, food, and just put it onto the bed and photograph it. And say, this is a typical motel room after the Pretty Things have left it. And so they were getting great mileage out of it. And in actual fact, they were the people that took Viv after he got thrown off the plane and wasn't allowed out in New Zealand. Yeah. Because New Zealand Airlines wouldn't fly him. They took him on a 2-week jaunt, paid, got him drunk and just took him round to all the spots. Because they got another 2 weeks circulation.
2 weeks worth.
Yeah, they loved it.
Yeah.
And Viv, he's the face on the front cover, isn't he?
Yeah.
Well, it was Ingemar Johansson, the Swedish boxing champion, the brother. He was in a bar with him one night, the brother of the boxer, and he was also a boxer.
Right.
And Viv sort of befriended him, and he was with him for about till 4 in the morning, and then the friendship kind of fell apart, and that's what the guy did to him. And the next Phil knew about it was like he got a phone call from the hospital, and that's exactly what happened.
Well, I was out drinking with them till about 2 hours before. And it was like arms, typical, like one of those kind of Billy Connolly said, you're the great. And I thought, well, they're going to go on till forever, so I'm going to leave. And I left about 4 or 5. And they went on to a couple more bars. And then apparently, Viv said something, and the guy, sort of, a bell went in his head, and he turned around and started pummeling him. Right. And he nearly killed Viv. And he lost his licence forever, was never allowed to box again. Because, boxers' hands are lethal weapons. Viv very nearly got himself killed.
Everybody's talking about my SD. I say talk is easy. Money's never free.
The Pretty Things itself as a project, or as a group, it's something which has never really stopped anyway, really, would you say?
Well, it's had gaps.
It's had gaps.
Sabbaticals, I think they call them.
And then things have sort of reformed and gradually become the next incarnation.
Right.
Except this one, which is this is a kind of reincarnation and is very much sort of thought of and assembled and happening.
So future plans. Tell us about the future.
The album just come out, and the single, which we're just saying to people, this is what we've done. We're going to re-establish the music, and Rosalyn, which is the first track on the album, which we've redone. We've done the video for. It's coming out in January, the new year. And then after that, as you said, we got an album in the can, possibly a new single for the next time round, yeah.
go back on the road.
More
And
gigs.
go back on the road. Yeah.
Still unrepentant after all these years, the Pretty Things double CD is out now, and on it you'll find this, the second single I bought as a mere boy of 10. Here, in all its untamed majesty now, is Rosalyn.
Unrepentant is the Pretty Things 2 CD retrospective set on release as we speak. Coming your way shortly, Pretty Thing Morton Harkett on his debut solo album and the new video from country gal.
You better come inside when you're ready to, but no chance if you don't want to dance. You're like a fool